More good news. Charles Allen's here.
Charles Allen,
smartest guest we have.
Charles Allen is the CEO and chairman of the board of BTCS Incorporated. Their ticker symbol, oddly enough, is BTCS. Mr. Allen back with us here on the Big Biz Show. Charles, a belated Happy New Year. Great to see you again.
Yeah, Happy New Year as well. It's great to be back.
Good to see you. 85 million U.S. homes here watch the Big Biz Show, as well as Armed Forces Radio, and everybody's asking the same thing. Why does Ethereum matter, Charles? Why, I've learned more in the last 4 interviews with you, but I think it really is worth talking about again. Why is Ethereum such a real deal? Because if I look at Bitcoin, I feel it is like the Dow, the Nasdaq, the S&P. It's an investment portal for me, but Ethereum's much different, isn't it?
Well, the best way to think about Ethereum without getting into the weeds is it's a settlement layer where you can trade tokenized real-world assets on top of. So it is the layer that allows for dollars to trade 24/7, 365 around the world, if you've heard of USDT. And that's remarkable, right? It allows the U.S. to export the dollar. It allows, you try going to the bank on a Sunday, you can't get your money. Think about SWIFT sending a wire transfer. So that's just one of the use cases. And now, the government's very optimistic and promoting the tokenization of real-world assets like securities and other. And basically anything you can think of, if it's going to get tokenized and we eliminate middlemen, right? You don't really need a Visa or a MasterCard anymore. It really changes the fabric of the economy on a global scale. And I think that's pretty remarkable. And most of that is getting built on Ethereum. So that's why I think Ethereum matters. It's less about, hey, I think Ethereum is going to go up. It's about what is it going to do to change the global economy.
2 things real quickly. I want to talk about safety and security because of Ethereum and the blockchain versus the fraudulent sort of Fed Reserve notion of a dollar value and so on and so forth. Can you talk about that just for a second before we get to what you guys are all about?
Well, I think there's 2 ways to think about security. I mean, one is inflation, right? Like, we're better off in the U.S. than most other countries in terms of inflation. That's why, we're exporting the dollar. That's why the tokenized dollar makes a lot of sense. If you think about, security from that perspective, Ethereum's got a burn mechanism, so it's not a cap supply like Bitcoin that can have 21 million. It's a more dynamic supply where the more that's spent every time you send some Ethereum or pay gas fees in Ethereum, some gets burned. Think of it as taking away some of the like a commission on a stock trade. Imagine if every time our stock traded, we burned some shares, right? It would increase the value. So I think that's one. And then the other security is just, what happens holding crypto. Ethereum's never been hacked, but there's been a lot of people that lose their tokens, right? And that's, I think, 10 years into the blockchain space myself, I've seen all sorts of service providers that help individuals and institutions better secure their cryptocurrencies. So I think that from that security standpoint, there's a lot of improvement just from technological developments.
Charles Allen is the CEO and chairman of the board of BTCS Incorporated. Their ticker symbol is BTCS. Charles, I like to tell the story that the first time I talked to my dad about investing in Bitcoin, his question back to me was, how many coins do I get for my investment? So the younger the generations are that are adopting this certain way of payment and things like that, does that determine how big this is going to grow as the older generation kind of phases out?
Yeah, the adoptability question.
Adoptability?
I think adoptability is coming. I mean, I look at my kids and they're, 10 and 12, and they're on Roblox.
Yeah.
Spending Robux to buy, swords in a game or something,
Sure.
right? Like real money is getting spent in a digital form by a younger generation on their devices, and that's how they want to transact. If I look at my 9-year-old mother, she's still writing paper checks and balancing checks. So, this is where the world's going. I kind of fall in the middle there, where I still write checks and I still use online apps.
Yeah.
The younger generation wants to interact in a pure digital world, and so that means that we're going to move more likely than not on chain. I think, and we're seeing this happen, large institutions are going to adopt blockchain technology in the background so that they can offer better services to their customers. And I think that will directly benefit Ethereum. We're an infrastructure provider, and we're interactive in the Ethereum ecosystem, so that should hopefully benefit our company. But I don't think to the consumer there's going to be this like aha moment that, oh, now I'm on the blockchain or I'm using it. It's going to be more like an Uber, right? Like you pull out your phone, your cab shows up and it works. You don't care what technology they use. You know, you don't care about GPS. You don't care about the data center that hosts it. And so I think that's where the world is going. Is people want a more seamless way to interact with each other in a more efficient economy.
I think the real question is, are you still getting the $5 check for your birthday card like I do every year from my grandmother?
Of course.
That's going on my age-old, 40 years old.
So I get cash.
Oh yeah, the $5 bill, a crisp.
And I get like $100 now.
Yeah, which means and I know you.
Just for inflation.
If you're like me, you get the same $40 in your pocket you've had for 6 months, and unless you've seen a valet, you haven't used any cash. Hey, Charles, before we let you out here today, talk about the operations of BTCS, because that's what really, most digital asset treasuries are wrappers for crypto. You guys have something much different than that. Talk about that for me.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of time, so I won't go into the details. I'll just kind of hit on the highlights, the proofs in the pudding. We're looking to drive scalable revenue. We did 1.4 million in revenue in 2023, 4 million in 2024, and just yesterday or Monday we announced we did unaudited 16 million for this year. So up over 290%. We've grown our balance sheet over 600% into a couple hundred million. And so we've got a business that's growing far beyond just holding a cryptocurrency and staking it or doing what a lot of these other DATs are. So we're really building a vibrant business within the Ethereum ecosystem and blockchain ecosystem and economy. And I think that's going to drive value for our shareholders. And hopefully people take notice, right? It'll sooner or later, if we keep delivering, someone will notice.
Charles Allen for president, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I'm in.
Smartest guy I know. Thanks, buddy. Good to see you.
CEO and Chairman of the Board, Charles Allen of BTCS Incorporated. Their ticker symbol is BTCS.